What's up, everybody? This is your girl Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. Hit me with a 1 in the comments if you can hear me, see me. I got my new microphones working. If I'm not close enough to the mic, let me know. I might need to move this mic around or put it up higher on my shirt. Maybe that might help. Sorry if I'm making noise. Person beside me clearly can't park. That's a shame. Anyways, let me know if you guys can hear me with the microphone. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me with this microphone. I've got a new mic, playing around with it. Okay. All right, you guys. So you see the title of the video. It says there will be a 40% increase spike in millionaires. So let me just keep that. Let me not put the multi on it. In millionaires. And most will not come from the United States, right? They're thinking they're going to come from China, India, a lot of the countries around us. And I would dare say some of those people are coming from America. They're just moving to other countries. And a lot of those folks are just housing their company in other countries, emerging markets. They're housing themselves somewhere else to take advantage of tax breaks. Right now, if you notice the Nomad Capital and many of these companies, they're doing the scramble to hide from taxes. So that's a whole nother conversation. I originally was going to call this show, Biggie Smalls said, "Get money." What you say, huh? Get money, right? And reason I want to bring that up is so many people get stuck on the first level of business. Got to get more money. Got to get more money. And I know where it comes from. There is this extreme hunger, this extreme desperation where someone is in dire straits financially. And they're like just screaming, I need more money. I need more money. I got to get money. Got to get money. So they do things in their business the first year, which are very time intensive, just labor intensive, from the ground up, hustle, struggle, and they never switch over to a larger business model. One of the prime examples I love showing and talking about is Zoom. Zoom is a Black owned company. You would not know that. He did not run around telling nobody he was a Black owned company. He told you, this is what I'm doing. I'm a software, company that's doing this. That was the focus. It wasn't until they made all that money on the stock market, he goes, oh yeah, and I'm Black. Right? We get a lot of tied up into the descriptions of companies, and I'm the first woman to do this, or I'm the first man to do that, I'm the first Black person to do this, and it's all with identity politics, right? It really limits you. Will there be a spike in millionaires? Heck yeah. One, we have inflation. Two, more than ever, there's this big segmentation in our population. When I say 75 million Americans out of 150 working million Americans are making 30,000, 50, 500 or less a year, many of you say, well, it's because their bosses aren't more than $16 an hour. That's actually inaccurate. Majority of people do not work a full 40 hours a week. If you actually look at the data stats that the government provides that are submitted by companies, the average person works around 30, 35 hours a week. Sometimes 32 hours a week. That's why when they were talking about Obamacare and getting people down to 32 hours a week, it didn't matter because the average person only works about 30 to 32 hours a week anyways. That's why the income's so low. Now you may say, Ericka, it's because listen, I get it. There's shift work. There's a lot of jobs that people have to take odd hours and it don't always equal out to 40 hours a week. So at the end of the day, where are these millionaires coming from? Oh, they got to come from all these other places. They're coming from places of people who are starting businesses and companies who run on systems. As a person with ADHD, I'm telling you, there are days I can't function executive level, but the systems we put in place are functioning in executive level. Gina and Ericka are finishing the emails. They're replying the stuff. They're asking podcasts, can we be interviewed? They're emailing reporters to put articles out about me. They're doing all these things that are small and necessary. But at the end of the day, if I had a different business model of government contracts, I would just have a girl or two I'd hire in office that they would come in part-time 3 days a week, and all they would do is fill out government contracts for me. Right? If I had a service business, like Michael Sneed and them recommend, I would have one really older guy that's like skilled out the gate, pay him really well, and then I'd get him to train 4 younger guys. They'd have to take turns training with him. And that way I would have a company that's essentially running off of a standard set by one, an older contractor, of course, but two, that they could handle these jobs. And if they needed help, the older guy can meet them at the job site and help them. There's a million ways to run this that don't require you personally to be involved. If you look at office space, a lot of places, a thing you guys are going to see, and make note, I'm telling you now, it's called flex space. You're going to notice all these construction sites and these warehouses, they start having that one door that pulls open like a garage door, and then a little bit of office, like 3 or 4 offices, and the garage door. Why? Because so many companies do low tech service, right? They ship out shipping supplies, school supplies, paper supplies. They get a couple government contracts to supply paper, and now they have a warehouse full of paper that they're supplying to who? The government. I mean, again, it's this there's a wave coming in business, if you paid attention, where a lot of these people you saw that were in front of the camera got behind the camera. Where a lot of people that were on YouTube, once they really touched a certain level of money and they got in certain rooms and really had conversations, they're like, oh, I can just run ads on this YouTube. I can go do this and make 10, 20, 30 mil. There's several people who are wholesalers who literally segue about 2019, 2020, and now they either do new construction housing, a deep, or they are people who own the mini warehouses, or they do government contracting. If you follow, I mean, again, there's about 5 to 20 Hispanic guys who've completely left wholesaling and into the development space. There's about 20 to 50 Black guys who were deep into like, oh, let's get all these rentals and let's do all this and buy the block. They're into development. And the ones that are in development, they're into government contracts. Now, when I say government contract, I don't mean just one type of government. I'm talking about people who are housing the elderly, housing veterans, housing the homeless. Those are also elements of government, right? Where the government is just trying to figure out, how can I, again, the government takes our tax dollars and says, hey, you community do it, right? Because it used to be churches, and it still is. The Catholic Church and the actual church in America is actually the #1 payer of free healthcare, which is crazy. But I mean, again, I went to, you guys know my story. I had an appendix burst. I'm crawling in the ER on my hands and feet, crawling in. I go, they charged me $46,000 for the surgery. The Catholic Church here in Austin, Texas, it's a Seton Medical, they're a Catholic church, literally goes, oh, we have X amount of slots for this year. Go fill this out and we'll pay for the whole thing. And all I had to pay for was $2,000 in morphine, because they had to shoot me up with a bunch of morphine in the ER when I got. So it keep me knocked out and sedated to the morning. So there's all this money, billions of dollars. Do you have a vehicle to receive it? And if you have a vehicle to receive it, can you hire people underneath you to work it? That is the definition of a business. Most people out here have created themselves a job. Even these YouTubers, even myself, when we're doing YouTube, we're making videos, we're editing videos, we're doing all this stuff, it is a job. If I make the video and I send it to Peter in Uganda and he chops up the videos, edits the videos, right? And then he puts them out here, uploads them, don't need to do any of that. Again, I've created a system and a job for someone, right? There's a lot of ways to have this conversation that people aren't ready for. So they just immediately dismiss these articles like, oh no, there's not going to be more millionaires. Times are hard. Food is bad. This is bad. Everything is bad. Again, you see people, I'm going to move overseas so I can get a girlfriend and live well. But when you start digging back the root of the problem, most people don't want to start a business because they can't figure out, I have to build a life around it. Now, what does that mean when I say build a life around it? When I get on the phone, people, I go, hey, who are your employees? What do they do? Well, people don't do it as well as I do it. That's not what I asked you. And you don't need to hire somebody to do it as well as you do. Most people don't hire A players. A players go do shit for themselves. Most people hire B and C players who do about 80% to 60% as well as you want them to do it. And they stick around because what? They need a paycheck and they don't have the hunger to start. They just don't. So now that you've hired some of those folks around you, right? They're doing that. That frees you up. You should be doing what? You should be planning vacations. I'm going to just be honest. I was like, you should have as hard as we work as business owners, every month. What are you talking about? Every month we go on vacation. It's not this thing we build up and save for. Now, this other dude said every 90 days if you're in the grind phase, which I have more respect than every month, but I understand it, right? Because you're doing something outside of the norm. You're using more energy, space, your body, your energy. Again, if you pay attention to a lot of entrepreneurs, they're always talking about having a personal trainer or working out or someone giving them food and veggies and drinks. And I understand that more now. as a person who like, I'll sit at the computer for hours and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to do this and I moved that and I looked at this and I researched this paper this guy sent me. What I realize is you're spending all those hours doing that. Okay, go stand up on a treadmill for an hour, right? The mental capacity to tell yourself that can sometimes be worn down. So that's why I've had a personal trainer for the past 3 years. No matter what people think, no matter what people want to say about me on this platform, it cracks me up because I know people whose heart basically exploded in their chest from literally working themselves to death. And it's not even funny. It's like, you have to take care of your health, right? But the person who people don't want to start a business because they're scared they won't be able to build a life around it. Most business owners I know, they hour block their time to go to the gym. They block out that week that they're going to go travel. And then they make sure their staff runs while they're not there. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. All right. One of the biggest things I want you guys to understand is, I just one of the guys I got on the phone with the other day, literally January, he's snowboarding. February, he's at the beach. March, he's overseas in Asia. April, he's overseas somewhere else again. Then in May, he's in Italy. Then June, he's like every month for at least a good solid week, he's gone. And we're building the schedule around it. Same thing when I was talking about conferences and building a life where you interact with all these people at conferences. People kind of like, oh, Ericka, I don't know about that. This one guy even said, well, you can get women without going to conferences. This is true. You can get all types of women without going to conferences. But what types of women are you getting? The one complaint I hear in a lot of these little masterminds, and sometimes that's why I separate them to women and men, and I understand it, because most of the guys are like, my girlfriend's like an idiot, man. Like, I love her. She's beautiful, but she just wants to take all this money and she wants to do this. And it's like, you chose her. You chose her, dude. I don't care. Continue with the mastermind. You're talking about something I don't care about. And so a lot of business owners, you'll meet them and they've made all this money. They're super smart, super talented. But if they get with the wrong partner, their life is just going down the drain, right? Or they're exhausted, or I want to quit my business, because they're complaining to somebody who's an employee mentally. Oh, it's so hard owning my business. And so that wife or that girlfriend's like, well, just quit. I don't know what to tell you. Just quit, because they're not in the caliber of women that you're supposed to even talk to. Right. So even what's funny is even I met my person at conferences. We're in the same kind of general direction of life, and I don't have to explain these techniques. I don't have to explain where I'm going with this. I don't have to explain these things because he's already following systems to take him there. So when you talk about these things, careful the person you pick. Where did you meet them? Where did you meet them? Because so many entrepreneurs, their business is their baby and they don't build true structure. They get warped into it, right? So you have to get on this is why I keep yelling about calendars and planners. Grab that planner in front of you and chart out. Let's say you can't do every month. You're like, Ericka, I ain't balling like that. No worries. Every 90 days, every quarter, where are you going? Write out, where are you going? What are you going to do? What is the level of work when you get there? We went on vacation with several work friends and they could not stop working. We had to literally tell them, hey, let's go. Let's get off here. Okay. So when people are saying there's going to be a 40% spike in millionaires, what it means is you're going to have a lot more of these flex spaces that you see in Houston. Someone said they see in Houston that have businesses that have maybe 2-3 staff, and the business itself makes 5 million, but the owner, after pay, after expenses, after taxes, they may only make 400,000, 500,000. And even then, a lot of people don't pay themselves that high. Why don't they pay themselves that high? Because then they personally get taxed, right? But here's a way. I'm not going to, again, CYA, consult your attorney, consult your accountant. This is just personal advice. I'm not telling you to do this, but several of those people, what happens is there's 2 different types of people they need. A COO and a CFO. Chief Financial Officer, Chief Operations Officer. Now, if you watch this channel several times, I've told you 4 things. If I could start all over, I would have a social media on staff in the building I used to have here in Pflugerville. I'd have on staff a social media manager, a operations manager, a in-office executive assistant that just runs my schedule and books me for things. And then the third I would have was an accountant that could come in part-time off and on, right? And because accounting, they can make a lot of money during tax season, I wanted to give that person the flex space as an accountant that they do 3 days a week for me and they can use their office for tax purposes, right? So it'd have been a double deal. Like, you can have clients come to this office to get their taxes done by you, as long as you get our company's taxes done first. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I had a good plan, I just didn't enforce it at the time. I didn't play with it, because we get stuck on that first level of business, right? We get in that Biggie Smalls, get money, right? What you say now? Get money, okay, right? So it was you get stuck on that first level, and I understand where we have so much hate on YouTube and Twitter, because people are like, let's just go there. People are very in poverty, even as adults. And I mean mentally, physically, spiritually. Now, what do I mean? If your mom, I watched this man today, he was 27. I mean, he was so violently angry about his father. He was like, my mother kept us from our father for 26 years. I just found out today. Now, they're letting the man rock. They're letting the man rock. And I immediately, because I am a child of parents who got divorced, went through custody battle, literally had to, went through the whole shebang. Mom got remarried like immediately right after. I know what it looks like when a parent is looking for you. Let's just go there. Let's just start there for a second, because this is going to play into business in a second. I'm going to give it to you. That young man thinks, my mom's been hiding me. Well, let's be really honest. Your grandma probably didn't leave town, right? Right? Your aunties didn't leave town. Your uncles, your cousins, your extended family are still in your hometown. So even if your mom picked up and took you as a child to another town, your father never in 26 years said, let me go down the street and ask Miss Tammy where the hell my child at? See, he never asked any of your uncles, none of your cousins, none of your siblings. He didn't ask none of your extra family members. He didn't run into nobody in your family in the same city, same town that could have gave him a slight information on where you are. Right? Even if he was paid child support, he didn't have a way to say, hey, I need to petition the court. I haven't seen this kid in forever. Paying child support. I ain't seen the kid in forever. Somebody help. He didn't have none of that in 26 years. I'm going to just tell you, I know a man who remarried in his life. He said at some point he got frustrated, and he said when the lady moved away, he couldn't find the kids. He remarried and went on with his life. He said, now at some point I knew I was going to have to go find them, or when they found me, I knew they were gonna be pissed. And he said this clear and smooth as day. He's one of the smoothest black brothers I know. Business owner, cool as can be, light-skinned brother out of North Carolina. He had 2 kids, and he knew they were gonna come find him one day. He said they're gonna be pissed as hell, because I should have looked for them before now. So now imagine you take this very angry, frustrated young man who's spiritually, mentally hungry, sad, angry, no parent, mad at ladies. You tell him, hey, you come online and talk crazy about women, man, you make money. This is what happens. This is what happens. So you have these people come into these spaces very angry, very distraught. Even if that guy became a plumber, right? Let's say he became a plumber. He gonna be plumbing at somebody's house, pissed as hell, angry, on edge. So just because you start a business will not solve all your mental and emotional and spiritual needs. This is why you have to build a life around your business that allows you to what? For some of them folks, get therapy. For some of them folks, build a life with a wife, some kids, spend a certain amount of time. And so when I'm seeing these kind of reactions on the internet, there's no way, right? There's no way I can expect that person to hear what I'm talking about, that, hey, business is easy. Yeah, business is easy. Like, this is the steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, the business steps are easy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you're emotionally not well, if you're struggling, your mom didn't get you no tutoring, you didn't eat enough vegetables, so your brain's struggling to comprehend concepts, you are not going to be a great candidate for business. That's why they say, oh, these black people doing this and that with business. You're already working from a deficit for some of them. And then 2, do you have enough structure to not have to get all the check? Right? This is why I tell you a lot of people are stuck at level 1. Because I remember talking to this guy on the phone. I said, listen, you just go hire 2 other painters. Oh man, but then my money, I'm like, you need 100% of every dollar, every dime that comes in this company. That's not a business, that's a job, baby. If you can't break off 2 people part-time, some money, right? So that you can get some of your time back. You should not be working 18 hours a day. That's not, this whole grind culture, There's a season to it. If you're starting a company, that first 30 to 60 days, maybe the first even 90 days, I would dare say maybe a year at max. But I'm telling you, like, my body and my mind physically from grinding for like a 1 year period, like, was like destroyed. Like, had to get the vitamins, had to get the IV bags, had to get all that stuff just to kind of reset and go off to normal. Just go to normal, right? I meet men in some of these masterminds who had to just get on testosterone because they were so absolutely wiped at the end of the year from grinding, right? These long hours, there's a lot of mental thoughts because the average person wakes up and does about 35,000 small thoughts a day. Oh, what shirt, what socks, what shoes, what this, turn left, turn right, driving the car, go in the office, say hi, like 35,000. So when I sit here and say we're going to have a 40% increase in millionaires, because there's a specialization happening, right? If you can gather your mind enough to go, hey, I'm going to go over here, open this flex warehouse space, I'm going to market and sell this, or I'm going to get government contracts and do this. It won't take a big ass staff. It won't take like it used to. It won't take 500 people working for you to help you hit $5-10 million. It won't do that anymore. You won't need that many people. That's why when you see these articles with the girl who created Boat Setter, she started because her brothers had boats and they couldn't sell them. They needed the money. Like, they needed the money. 2008, they were freaking out. She's like, man, if there's a way we could rent the boat, you know? And she created Boat Setter. This is the thing, you guys, ideals come from a need base. Oh, for sure. For sure. Our hormones can't take it. It's wild. I know personally, for sure. You know what I'm saying? So again, the whole family's complicit in that, especially the social media, where and how to find. This is my whole problem. Like, again, if that person has a Achilles heel and he's on the internet mad, angry, 26 years old, my mom keeping me away from my dad. Whose side of the story is that? Your dad in 26 years never found you? That's a decision, baby. He made a decision. But that young man can't appropriately make a decision at jobs, at work, or building a business at that level of anger. Can't do it. His brain cannot do it. I don't care who he is. He can probably drive trucks. Then he out on the road raging with people. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a level of mental capacity that you need to run a business. And this is something we can't say in our community because it's offensive. Right? The other day, I posted about an autistic child and the cop that had a free volunteer thing with tennis. I read the article. Why was the mother not there at the volunteer event that's run by police officers? Your child's autistic. Even if they're on the spectrum, you need to be there. And so when I said in the article, you need to make more money so that you can provide the best care for your child, people said, man, Ericka, that's tasteless. That's heartless. These are the reasons people are broke and consistently stay broke. They're doing they're doing things that can be avoided. Okay, right? Having children out of wedlock, having children young, having children while you have no job, no prospects, no income. Right? Well, then now we're thrown in a tizzy because if anybody ever told you about Medicaid versus actual insurance, the way these hospitals and nurses and staff treat a person with government health care, even TRICARE, military folks, is atrocious versus actual paid health care. That's why when people say we should do free healthcare for all. Have you been to Canada? Have you seen the people waiting for a simple surgery for a year, 2 years, running across the border to get surgery because they're in dire straits and pain? You don't want that healthcare. I promise you. You don't want it. You don't want DMV style healthcare, okay? Where your teeth been rotten for 4 years and you can't get a pool because you're waiting on that damn DMV healthcare. You don't want that. All right? So a lot of these people, for them to even get up to the mental capacity and emotional capacity to run a business will be hard. This is why I tell y'all, a lot of these people will just want jobs. They'll just want to show up at a place and goof off and look at their phone and be on Facebook and get a check. And that's no problem to me because in my mind, there's plenty of us. There's a good solid 10-20% of us who could literally make $1 million, $2 million bag off of hiring a bunch of folks that really weren't going to do nothing with their life. No way. I mean, I ain't trying to be ugly, but I am. If you already know you got an office full of guys that just want to go to cookouts and drink beer every weekend, No problem. Provide them work. Take your cut off the top and keep it pushing. That's a lot of what you'll see out here at these warehouses. When I went to Apex Entourage, I'm telling you, most of the guys I meet there, they hire one guy, they make him either train the other guys around him. So he's the head honcho who trained you how to do everything. Or they bring in a lot of guys that are in similar age ranges. So the company grows together. But you're going to have turnover. You're going to have people leave, you're going to have people quit. But at the end of the day, you providing 10 dudes, 50K a year jobs, 2 receptionists up front, one's a sales girl, one's just a phone picker upper, and then you're just running ads. That gets real easy. Now you're going to say, Ericka, where does all this play into business ownership and millionaires and all this? This is why we're doing the training on credit and business credit. Because a lot of times people say, well, business credit, just give me some business credit cards. That's not what I'm teaching whatsoever. I'm teaching you how to build the foundation out. And on this training, you'll see it January 8th. We're building the foundation, not only getting you the business lines of credit, getting you different vendors and banks and all this other stuff, but also how do you connect in the town and the city you're in? How do you tap into people that are right there in the city, whether it's hard money lenders, regular lenders? Is it the insurance companies? Is it the Chamber of Commerce? Trust me, when you start getting into some of these spaces, the money just falls out the sky because there's not that many people doing it. I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying. When I was in my hometown, I would go to ribbon cutting ceremonies. First thing people are like, what's your last name? Like, oh, it's Williams, Ericka Williams. Okay. Where's your business at? Oh, it's over here. Oh, so nice of you to come over here and support. Who's your family, honey? Your family owned it. And it would literally go in that order quickly. When I was at United Way, Day of Giving, I was at an event with 4 vice presidents of banks. Hey, you're in college? Oh, you go to East Carolina. Man, our family loves UNC and NC State. But if you ever need a job, honey, come on over here and call me at the bank. You just have a great personality. I can find a place for you to be placed. But I would have never encountered those 4 VIPs of banks, and they're all different banks, not the same chain, in that hometown. It wasn't for the Day of Giving, volunteering. But if you talk to some of these people, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm grinding, I can't volunteer, I'm too busy. Okay, you're going to miss those opportunities to meet those type of people. There's 2 boys who raised $5 million in a real estate fund here in Austin, Texas. You can find these interviews, you can find the articles and the interviews. How did they do it? Every Tuesday and Thursday for a year, they would go set up the chairs and the crackers and the drinks and the water at the RIA groups, 2 different RIA groups here in Austin, Texas, every Tuesday. And they would close everything down every night, fold up the chairs, do all that, speak to everybody, have their names tag out, yeah, blah, 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 for a year. They were in college over here at UT. What did they do at the end of the year, y'all? Pitch those 2 groups, the Tuesday night group and the Thursday night group. Hey, you've been seeing me here all year long. You've been talking to me all year long. I have this great opportunity. We're trying to get this apartment complex. We need this amount of money and this amount of space and this amount of time and this amount of this. How were they able to do that? Many of you are going to say, well, their parents must be rich. They must be doing this. No. It was the time. They volunteered for a year. So random or almost all the people in those 2 groups saw them. They knew how to speak the lingo. They 20 years old. Most 20-year-olds sound like a mumble rapper. You don't even know what the hell they're saying. I am getting that old where I'm listening to somebody, I'm like, can you speak? What's wrong with your vocabulary? I'm going to need you to read a dictionary out loud in my office every day because this is crazy. So they know the lingo. They know how to talk. They already know all the lenders. They already know all the big shots in the room. They already know who has money, who doesn't have money. They've been watching for a year. Pitch it, get the money in not even 48 hours. Get what we call intent to work with or whatever. There's a letter, but that's a whole nother conversation. But you have people who are so busy on level 1, get money. What you say, huh? Get money, right? Like they can't breathe. Their living situation has been so tense and so tight for so long that they can't breathe. So if you put somebody, and I don't know if you guys know this, but during World War II, when they went to liberate some of these concentration camps, the soldiers felt so bad they started just pulling food from this one truck, and the officers and the commanders had to run and stop them. They're saying these people have been starving. They will eat themselves to death. They will burst their stomachs. They'll choke themselves on the crackers and the saltines you're giving them. They haven't had enough water. Stop feeding them immediately. Follow this thing. We're telling you stop, right? They got doctors out there, they got managers, and the people are just seeing, look at them. They're hungry. They are. That's a lot of times how I look out here in these spaces where people are angry. They mad at their daddy, they mad at their mama, they mad at girls, they mad at their life. I should just get more money. That's not the only equation answer here. You're starving. Get a balance first. Those boys were able to do what? Spend a year of Tuesday, Thursdays doing that. Do you know what most of y'all do for a year, Tuesday and Thursday? Watch TV, Netflix, goof off. Goof off. Couldn't remember Tuesday if I asked you what you did last Tuesday. So they spent a year, it honed in on a Tuesday and Thursday, locking that in. And now the other end of that year, they're talking about a $5 million apartment deal. So there's when people say, I don't have any money, Ericka, I don't have this, I don't have credit, I don't have money. There's a way to get in, but are you even balanced enough to do that? Some of y'all might need to work a job or two, or get your income up an extra $1,000 a month so that you have a balanced year where you ain't starving, you ain't in the negative, you ain't in the red, right? Because a lot of times you talk to people like, hey, why don't you just go, get 3 secure cards? Oh, well, what money? You got to go find the money. Go get 3 secure cards and go sit down for a year, because that's where you're at, right? Even when I did the business training, I said, okay, so you're going to get this one, this one, this one. Okay, you're going to get 4 net 30s. It's going to cost you about $400 a month, yada, yada. Like, 400 a month? Yeah, for the next 90 days. Ooh, I don't know if I have that. So you're going to have to make your personal credit perfect, right? So there's a lot of conversations that we have inside the class that I can build out on that I can't build out on YouTube, because we're out here fighting Neanderthals. We're out here fighting dudes who are mad every day. We're out here people who want attention so bad they'll say anything reckless, crazy, dangerous to get attention at all costs, because their mom, their grandma, their dad paid them no attention as a child. So now they're an adult acting out online. It's desperate. Go on Facebook some days. It's like people are using it as a diary. This is a public platform, baby. This ain't a diary. What's wrong with you? It's real crazy. Like, you need the therapy, right? I know a couple people that have dogs, and the way they talk to their dogs in public, I'm like, where PETA at? Come arrest them. It's crazy. You need help. You need therapy. So when you're dealing with people like that, and then you try to have a business conversation with them, that's a long-term plan, a 50-year plan. Hey, let's get 10 million in real estate this year and then build out 12 million next year by doing this steps 1, 2, 3, by joining this association. You've already lost them. Because where are they at? They're like, at getting money. Give me some money. That's where they at. I'm hungry. Give me some money. That's the level they're at. And once you figure that out, that is why I'll be talking about go to conferences, go to certain rooms. I remember my friend said he went to a bar. He met this nice black girl. He was so excited. And he said at the end, she was like, hey, if you give me X amount of dollars, we can go back to my hotel room. And he said his little feelings was hurt, because he was like, damn, I was really feeling her. And she out here trying to sell me. You know what? She trying to sell it to him, y'all. His little feelings was hurt. That's why when people say, well, I can just go meet women in the street. I can meet them anywhere. I can meet them at McDonald's. I can meet them in the club. I can meet them. You can do all those things. But this is why the segregation of where you start spending your time matters, where you start pulling away from the masses and start going to certain events and conferences. That's why I told y'all about the 10X. If you go to the 10X website, it's like 10 times or whatever. Go to the website. It lists all the conferences all year long, all over the world. That's why you'll meet somebody who, and people think this isn't real, but most doctors marry doctors. Most nurses marry nurses. Most janitors marry janitors. They've done hundreds of years of research. They've been researching this for years. They still research this now. You think that, I'm going to become a doctor. I'm going to buy all the women. I'm going to, whatever women I want. 9 times out of 10, who are you going to spend 90% of your time with? Other doctors. So when I go to these conferences and you talk to somebody who's a doctor, there was a young man, amazing guy. Him and his friend created a way for, you want to go to medical school for free. They knew all the grants. They knew a list of programs. They did all the stuff, and they sold it to you for $2,000 program. Made like millions of dollars, because there's so many students who want to go to college, be a doctor, but I can't afford it. Their company's perfect, right? And they're actual medical doctors, so they're young. They it was like, oh, people are like, this is perfect. Y'all went to school for free? Show me how. Period. Easy, simple job. Easy. They made $1 million the first year in the company. I think they made $4 million last year. So there's space in the market for all these things if you can show somebody something. But where do a lot of these people start to congregate and start to be at? They start to be in conferences. They start to be in Cabo. They start to be in fishing championships. They start to be at private dinners. They be golfing all day. They're not going to be the run-of-mill places, the run-of-mill bars, the hole in the wall sometimes. They're going to be segregated from you at some point in levels because it's just for their safety. It's just for their safety at that point, right? So again, let me look at some of y'all comments. It's 397 people here. I got some more in this conversation, but again, if I were you this year, I would focus on SOPs, which is standard operating procedures, writing these stuff out so you can hire someone to give yourself the freedom. You know, how do you get freedom? You buy back your freedom. You buy back your time. This is something people don't want to hear, but this is an accurate wording. When you get your job, and let's say you're making $30K a year, when you first got it, you're like, this is so great, right? And you're networking, you're talking to people, and you're like, oh, you can get a job over here, man, for 45. Oh, man, you move over here, get a job for 45. You meet somebody else, they're saying, oh, this job's paying for 60. That's the natural progression. You're supposed to be progressing yourself and increasing your income as you get older. But a lot of people get stuck at, well, I just can't make more money than I'm making. No problem. Are we buying $20 a week of stocks? Of dividend stocks? Are we buying $20 a week of gold, silver? What are we doing with just the $20, right? We're not even asking you to do a lot. This is why the home purchase was such a big thing for people, because they knew if they purchased the home, they could have somewhere to live for the rest of their life. Two, if the appreciation went up like they thought it would, oh, great, I can borrow from my house. I can take lines of credit out against my house. I can sell my house if there's an emergency, medical emergency, whatever. But a lot of people are skipping that step to buying the house. So now they're stuck in this hamster wheel of working. Now they're like, well, I should start a business. And then they get the hamster wheel of, I have a business. Do you have employees? No. Do you take a break? No. Do you do this? No, I can't afford to. Right? So they never get off lane one of that hamster wheel. So buying the freedom, buying the time, that's why you see so many people online bashing internet entrepreneurs and, oh, I make more money than you at my job. Well, how do you know that? Did you look at their paycheck? Did they show you their money? Well, no, you didn't. Can you take that job with you? Can you give that job to your children? Can you help other people with that job? No, you can't. You can't. So there's levels to it, but for whatever reason, some people in our society act like they can't do two concepts at once. Their brain doesn't work that way, and I get it, right? But let's not build ourselves a job. Let's build ourselves a business. Let's build ourselves some systems, right? And if you're, I'm telling y'all, anything food, homeless, elderly, need-based, low income, woof, y'all gonna be hella rich next year. Y'all gonna be rich for the next 2 to 5 years. Always double check any info you get. And that's the thing, they can't do it. A lot of adults, man. To be still in mind, that's right. Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. Listen, the saddest part is watching people who are great, talented business owners get absolutely trapped in their businesses, trapped within their mind, and stuck. Well, we know 2 people that have like 10 rentals. And one friend was like, yo, I'm gonna switch all these over to boarding houses in Virginia. Like 10x his money. 10x his money. The other friend's like, nah, and they're still complaining about COVID and people not paying rent. And it's like the systems are there, the opportunities are there. Do you want to switch over? Seton took excellent care of my mother during the final weeks of her life when the other hospitals just wanted to send her off to suffer because her insurance didn't want to pay anymore. I'm so sorry to hear that, Cat Sky. Seton is a wonderful place. I've had more than one surgery. One was like a specialized surgery. I got to use just the space because my doctor got to use that space. But overall, like, dude, like $46,000 surgery, go. Shit. I will not complain. They just dropped the kids off. I didn't stop being at my kids' practices until they got to high school. Yeah, because people are trying to buy back their time, but then they buy it back from their children, and then their children become 25 and angry at them because they didn't give them anything really. They basically like, well, I gave you somewhere to sleep. I gave you some food to eat. And the kid's like, I needed your guidance. I needed your attention. I needed your a lot. And again, parents aren't perfect people. Everybody's parents makes mistakes along the way. I'm not saying that, but I will be very, very vocal always on this channel that a lot of y'all are zooming in on your kids. You're like, dropping them off, pick them up at school. I mean, literally, they showed a study that an average father spends about 45 minutes with his kid in the day. And people are like, no, I want my kids all the time. But were you present? You got them up, you sent them on the school bus, they on the bus. You got them off the school bus, you made them some food. Were y'all eating at the table or were you watching TV? Then on top of that, were you just hiding in the garage the rest of the night? Then the kid goes to bed about 8, 9, depending on the kid. You know what I mean? Like, or your teenager spent the whole night in their room. Did they really interact with you as a parent? Some of this stuff, people don't really want to hear that, right? I remember Grant Cardone was saying, they were like, why are your children not in school? And he was saying, he went to the school one day and said, can I just pick them up? Can I just take them with me? I want to take them on this conference. I want to do this. He's like, oh, you can't do any of that. You get in trouble for truancy. And he's like, what? So Grant Cardone homeschools his kids, tutors come over, people come teach them 3-4 hours a day and keep it pushing. His daughters will still get to Harvard faster than you will. I'm telling you. Telling people to guard their routine and plan before having children. Considered. I mean, the craziest part is every time I make a comment about teenage pregnancy, it's at all-time lows. A lot of this stuff, teenage graduations is real-time highs. People really be like, well, stuff happens, Ericka. It's almost dummy proof for you to graduate high schools in America at this point. It's almost dummy. If you just show up, they'll rubber stamp you through. You almost got to just not read, not write, almost be a mute or something. It's real hard, right? To not get pregnant is like, there's too many options. And these are the same people every time. Well, condoms break. Y'all, stop. Like every time they give you these sob stories that make no sense. Y'all hating again. 316 people watching, 77 likes. There's 450 people here. Let's hit the like button. And then we have another show later this afternoon. Do y'all like my microphone? Please put a one in the comments if y'all liking my new microphone. I finally got it plugged into work. Let me know if you like it. I got it on the shirt. I hope it works well. Put a one in the comments if you're liking the microphone. But we will have a show with actually Free D, because a lot of times y'all think when I'm talking about credit and business credit, I'm talking about business credit cards, and I'm talking about so much more, so much level to this. It ain't about G-Wagons and Range Rovers. To me, it's about quality of life. Literally, I'm not trying to be ugly, but if you could hire 2 people to do most of your daily tasks, I'm talking about cleaning your house, cooking food, making arrangements for dates and different events, y'all would be so much more stress-free. You wouldn't be a woman of leisure, because that is a category. You won't be a kept woman, because that is a category, but you'll be close, right? Because I literally had display certificate of her. Now I'm getting a cleaner. She's gonna come through here. I'm tired. All week. I don't watch this all week. I'm done. Let's let the lady wash and clean this Friday and call it a day, right? Let's use these specials and call it a day. And a lot of times people they're like, oh, that's someone being lazy. The way we have our American society set up right now, you can't do it all. You can't. And I'm telling you, if you look back, even 1920s, 1930s, you had these big Victorian houses. They weren't dirty. You know why they weren't dirty? One, there was always a spinster sister or a spinster brother, which they would call the brother a certified bachelor, who was around. They either helped with the kids, or they helped with the cleanup, or they helped with the farm, or they helped with the business. You always had people in our society that were unmarried for whatever reason, and they were help to the family, the main family. That just is what it is. I can go into many conversations on that, but I don't want the drama. Now we have these people all kind of isolated in individual housing, and you're expecting them to all cook and clean at the level of a house where multiple people could do that. That's crazy. That's not realistic. Yes, the bundle should be in the comments. If it's not, I can put it in the comments and tag it. But it should be in there. But again, it's the financial freedom bundle. It's $97. You get 4 classes. We'll have a live training January 8th. January 8th, we'll be doing the live training. It's going to be, I'm going to tell you now, get your pen and paper. It's going to be close to 3 hours. I'm so sorry. I I could make it less slides, but I feel like I'd be robbing you because we're hitting personal, business, and building up your business in an area. So it's a combination class. I feel bad. I'm gonna try to get it down to 2 hours and 30 minutes. But last time I felt like I was rushing and I cut like 20 slides. So I think we're at like 60 slides. So I'm just give me a heads up in advance. But last time we were showing people how to take lines of credit against your stocks in this like credit union, all this stuff. We taught a lot of cool stuff. This is how I ended up with my World Bank contract. I volunteered for early childhood NGO, and the owner had the right contract. Congratulations. US has 40 MRA per million people. Canada has 10 MRI. Ooh, wow. Letter of intent. Thank you, Latasha. You know what I was trying to say. Letter of intent. You know? Exactly. Thursday night football. You ask most people where they were for the year. Thursday night football. Be careful, y'all. The post just has to borrow 800 and she has a whole husband at home. I can't. I can't. You know what's funny? Ever since I had my certificate together, I asked for like somebody to do something. Why can't he do it for you? Why can't he run that errand? I'm like, I'm asking you. Because I'm asking you. Just because they have a whole husband at home. Now, somebody asks you for $800, you need to go ahead and give them a financial book, Dave Ramsey's financial peace book. You need to give them some other stuff. But I tell you, if they ask 100, it's a problem. So, diary Facebook. I mean, it'd be really sad. A lot of business credit are on PG due to the individual abusing the PG route. My business Amazon's going in a couple days due to the madness. Fingerprinting gurus. I actually break it down and talk about how to get away from that, how to get around that, and what year of business you can do. A lot of times what people don't understand is, I'll be careful, but a lot of that's going to be in the class because a lot of people, I know two or three guys who used to buy LLCs like 5 at a time and let them sit for 2 years and then do something with them. But most people don't have that kind of patience. My neighbor's always yelling at her dog. Yeah, it's the kick the dog theory. You're mad about life, so you come home and you slap your wife. Your wife slaps the kids slap the dog. Now people ain't got no wife, and their kids don't live with them. So then, they kicking the dog. They yelling at the dog, acting crazy. It's crazy. I asked her why he wasn't doing gigs. That's what I'm saying, Latasha. When he told me that part of the story, he literally looked hurt. He was like, "She's so pretty, and she's a good-looking black woman. I don't know why she doing this." And I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. What bar was it? Where would you go? He was like, man, it just ruined my whole damn night. I was like, he basically was saying how he liked her so much. She could have been my girlfriend. I'd have gave her money. And I was like, sometimes people be in bad ass situations. Pun intended. Selling the you know what. Okay. There you go, Orlando Fuller. Ding, 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 ding. But majority of these millionaires will not be in America. They're going to be, a lot of these people are going to do what? They're going to hop over to Belize, hop over to Panama. There's a reason I'm teaching y'all and talking about Panama that y'all don't understand what is unfolding. Why are all these Jewish New Yorker people going to Panama? I'm telling y'all to pay attention and y'all not paying attention. I be pointed out, I be putting the community wall, and I know I'm going to lose some of y'all, and that's okay. Because a lot of this stuff is educated. We got to be funny and silly and laugh for y'all to even pay attention to the information. But pay attention. Why is it one of the famous Jewish YouTubers in Panama? Been out there for a while with his family. New York's freezing. He's down there. Then he showed you they got a warehouse where they're going to control what? All them warehouses and a lot of space. If the Jewish people took over New York, you don't think they could take over a bunch of warehouses in certain parts of Panama? And then now when you go through warehouses, who you going through? Jewish people in Panama? I don't want this channel to get flagged, but I'm just telling y'all, pay attention what's happening in front of you. Because people are like, oh, I'll never leave New York. Oh, they'll never leave New York, but they won't be poor like you in New York. They'll go take their money and buy rental properties in North Carolina before they're poor in New York. They're going to take their money and buy rental properties in Detroit before they're poor in New York. They're going to take their money and buy a bunch of stuff in Florida and rent it all out before they're poor in New York. You dig what I'm saying? They'll do that. For sure. Hit me up at adminclassyclimbers.com. Send it to Enrique. Or if you send it to one of my personal emails, give me a check and check it out. We're a little backlog. Nurses are pissed. They used to marry doctors. Then 50% of med students became women. Hey, John. Hey, it happens. For most people, buying back time takes a lot of time. Bella, it does, but it depends. If the average person is making $30K a year, right? And if they just buy a house, and I know that's why the whole house hacking thing blew up like crazy, and they're renting out the rooms. I'm telling you, I've watched friends here, 3 dudes buy a house together for 176 South Austin. Each boy, almost all boy went and got married. The first 2 got married. They rented the other rooms out, kept it rented out. 4-bedroom house. That's very common in South Austin. Renting all the rooms out, right? People are paying that money. Then the house is appreciated to $394. Then the house went all the way almost to $400,000. They bought it at 176, right? So then they eventually say, hey, let's sell this house while the market's hot. Split it 3 ways and go on about our life. Because the other 2 boys, while living in the house, got married, went and bought another house. So those other 2 guys got houses. The original guy, the last guy standing, was still in the house. And he's like, oh, sell it. I'm about to get married too. And was able to buy a house. So all 3 boys in their 28 to 32 range were able to turn around and buy what? A $300,000, $400,000 house in Austin, Texas, in a hottest market, because they did what? Tacked a house together 3 years before that. But that's the stuff people don't want to talk about. That's the stuff like, how do you buy back your time? Through vehicles, through the right vehicles, through the right direction, through the right way. Right? Why are we doing new construction here in Texas and Florida and Arizona? Because it's a vehicle that gets you the quickest to 100 to 250,000. It's the quickest way. The government's like, we need housing. Section 8, we need housing. Oh, everybody, we need housing. You do? How much would you give me for it? You do? How much will you give these vouchers for? You do? What certifications do I need? See, this is the levels of business that you can't talk with most people about, because they miss that whole point. Like, okay, we're going to start here. This is the ground level, get money. But second level, figure out our tax situation. Third level is hiring these employees to sort out what? This extra work so we can have extra money. You know what I mean? So again, that's what we lose the conversation. I get it though. But if you're just going to work a job, no problem. You need to be taking money out of that check, buying that time back. I am planning to attend a few conferences this year and speaking at a few. Speaking will expose your business. I'm trying to also write a book to sell at these conferences. K Business Podcast, if you're in our January 14th live training on digital real estate, I think I'm going to go over the conference aspect and how you can serve it to the niche of your business. Because some of you are selling children's books, children's focus. Some of you are selling medical supplies, different things digitally. And we'll go over that, how you can plug in those conferences. And sometimes you can even pay for speaker locations, sponsorships. Like I'm sponsoring 2 conferences, and that's how I was able to meet the hard money lender that's going 100K out, 100% different stuff. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Build myself a job, not a business the first time around. Won't make that mistake twice. Congratulations. Listen, and I'm going to tell y'all, pay attention. I was talking to you about the Jewish guys in Panama, why they're all going that way. Pay attention. There's several commercials on YouTube. And I know a lot of y'all pay for the premium, so you don't watch ads. I watch the ads because it tells me who's next in line. I'll put it to you that way. I'm watching several Muslim creators who don't even have YouTube channels make ads and go, hey, they're already cutting the middleman part out of it. They're cutting YouTube out. They're like, I don't even need to make no channel. They start to get the banner on the channel. They don't have no videos on the channel. And they literally are running ads like, hey, you should be a business owner and do this. And Allah Akbar to you, brother. You know, as a Muslim, we can take over the world and the space by owning businesses. And I looked at that video. I said, wait a minute. Whoa, YouTube, boy, y'all letting this go through? It's very much in their culture to run a business, as well as in Jewish culture. It's a service mentality. You're providing a service, right? Because like if you ask the average person, do they want to be a plumber, a roofer, or this? Oh no, I'll be blue collar. Okay, well, do you want to own a plumbing company? Do you want to own a $5 million HVAC company and you never do anything AC? You just send guys out to do the work? Different conversation. So a lot of times what happens is you guys are not seeing how people are literally coming to America and they're skipping the entertainment factor. They're skipping doing this YouTube thing. They're just going straight to running ads, and I respect it. You know why? Because they're like, give me my traffic and get on out of here. Same thing with Facebook. I'm still in Alice Becker's group. It's called the Iron Group. And I went in there and some people just now watching all the course stuff over and just now doing Facebook ads from 2019 to 2020. And I was like, Alice Becker has been doing ads forever. He pulls millions of dollars out of this daggone YouTube via ads. Pay attention. Some people are even skipping that stuff. Like, oh, I don't need to play the YouTube game. YouTube game is a combination of, oh, I kind of want to be famous, kind of want to hear my voice heard, kind of want to talk to people. Now I'm at a point where I'm like, I hear y'all. I understand. Just run the ads. Don't even be bothered. Get your cash, move it to where you want to move it. Become your own boss. Thank you. I appreciate that. Rubber stamp them through. They do. Drop your link. I'm sorry. Do y'all not see the link in there at all? They do. Falling down pregnant out here. They be falling down pregnant. Help me, Jesus. Dre, thank you for the $5 super chat. They actively refuse to care about their future. This is very true. My folks are retired and have a cleaning lady. Yes, back home in my hometown, we had cleaning ladies. So when I was telling my students, they're like, I'm not about to work all day on this YouTube and this construction stuff and then try to come home and cook and clean. Now I'm a cook now. You know I cook now. Don't play. I'm a Southern girl. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna run around and break my neck trying to clean this house. We'll call somebody. Get us some help. Too easy. Too easy. It's an easy domestic task. Pay it and keep it pushing. They did, B. Williams. They also had that. Yes, you pay $97 for the bundle, and you get the live class too. It's a double whammy. Volunteering has increased my network. Gangster Ray Gun 34 for sure, 100%. Ericka, you're a great teacher. Your classes flow. They never seem long. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try to come in there and like try to get in there. Robbie, hey Ericka, does your credit course teach us how to do a credit repair service or just funding? Just funding. We have on our old channel, if y'all find the old links, you can have them. I had a credit repair service, how to step by step by my old partner. I still got the link up. People still buy that course. It's over there. I moved it to a whole nother place. You can't even find it. The link's still out there. You buy it, it's on you though. But yeah, you'll see us uploading and sharing in the community tab our old videos on credit and different things so that you can kind of get an understanding of some of the stuff we're talking about and why it's so important. If I could explain to y'all how I know 2 or 3 people who started their real estate career as a real estate agent, they had a credit card. They paid their rent up for 6 months and worked their ass off to sell their first house. And in between, they did apartment locating because they had to hurry up so they could pay that rent, right? And there's a lot of people that one credit card, a 20K card, a 25 card changes their life. They don't use it to stunt, buy clothes, goof off, trips. They actually use it to start a business. And really, at this point for business, you just need to make sure you're having traffic go where it needs to go, convert people, talk to people, or you're getting to your audience. Hey, it happens. When my homegirl's husband asked to borrow money after the holidays last year, I knew it was time to change my friend group. Ooh, girl, that's crazy. And the dog bites the mailman. You already know. Doing something strange, change. They might call me that. Again, reverse engineer your life. I mean, I wish I could do a whole video on reverse engineer your life. If you could sit down, if you could sit down, and I mean this, there's 450 people, 45 people here. Hit the like button. It's classyclimbers.com. If you have never been to classyclimbers.com, one of my students in here, if you could please throw the links to the courses in here, help me out. I don't know if any of my mods are here today. I know it's earlier than my usual time, but classyclimbers.com. And I'm about to get out of here because I have a call. I got to hop on real quick. But if you reverse engineer your life, if you say, hey, every month I want to do this. I want to eat at, whatever it is. Let's go real simple. I want to eat at a particular nice fancy restaurant a month. I want to go on a vacation with my boo, or a weekender vacation every month for the next 12 months. Can you write that out? Okay, how much does that cost? Okay, how much are the flights? Okay, how much are this? When I tell people I basically flew in an emergency flight to go home for a funeral on all points, straight points, didn't pay nothing but $5 was the tax. When I have friends who do that all year long, they don't pay anything. They literally got 4 or 5 credit cards at one time. So now they're sitting on 200,000, 300,000 points that they use at the airlines, because really they're doing domestic flights don't eat up a ton of points, but those long range flights do eat up a lot of points. You can build the life you want. People don't want to hear that though, because that would require them to stop, sit down for an hour, and write out the type of life they want. They have to put a name it, claim it kind of, people hate that prosperity gospel. It's like, actually, what do you want and how can you get it? They don't want to do that. Let me see. Get the likes up, please. Select Section 8 are so low in Cincinnati, Ohio that they offer a $2K to $5K bonus to get landlords to put up units for rent before the pandemic. There you go. There you go. Muslim creators, stay ready. Gas stations, restaurants, deli, corner store, real estate, you name it. What is ad stuff? Advertising, Bob. Thank you for the super chat. There you go. Ericka, I was vacationing in Greenville, South Carolina, right now for the next 3 weeks. I see a ton of new construction in downtown area. There are new apartments everywhere. I smell gentrification. Yeah, I'm telling you. Y'all gonna figure it out. All right, I just pushed the bundle. Congratulations. See you this Saturday. Wait, no, the 8th, whatever the 8th is. I mean, my life is crazy right now. I would always start off with United Way. United Way is like the deep dive into volunteerism. I got my certification to work on boards from United Way. So no, B Williams, it's an old thing. I had a partnership with someone several years ago and we got rid of it once we closed that out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. But I'll put it in the chat. It's actually inside. If you already go, once you purchase, it's inside the course. When the live training be the time slot, you can actually see it in there. I will pin it to the top comments once this is done. This video, I'm about to wrap it up. So there was 497 people here at one point. Make sure you guys hit the like button. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate your patience. I hope you like the new microphone. I'll try to use it more often when I'm in the car, because I know the complaints on the quality of audio and video, and I always try to make sure that's better for you guys. This is your girl Ericka from the Classy Line blog. I recommend you join me January 8th for the business credit class, which also about your personal, your business, deep diving, building out your foundation in your local area for lenders, hard money lenders, and your business in general. How to do that, where to do that, where do I see things moving and shaking. Then we'll also have a training on January 14th for the digital real estate students. We're going to talk about how to rack up 100K for the year out of digital real estate, how to do it other than being crazy angry, right? We have a friend who literally posts negative, crazy stuff every day on Facebook. His reels are crazy. His Instagram checks are about $4 grand right now. But at the end of the day, you'd rather be known for something positive. It carries longer. It carries easier. But you can go dark side. You can go negative. You can go nuclear. But this is your girl, Ericka, Classy Climb blog. Have a wonderful day.